All right, so you want to know if Red Hat Enterprise Linux is actually worth the damn?
Uh,
Like, is it the king of the hill, or are we getting screwed with a Fedora remix and a hefty-ass price tag?
okay, so
Our mission, if we choose to accept it, is to tear apart this Wikipedia article and figure out what's what.
sounds good to me.
You up for the challenge?
Absolutely.
Let's get this shit show on the road. So, is RHEL all hype, or is there something more to this Enterprise Linux crap?
RHEL, it's definitely more than just a dressed up fedora.
Dressed up, huh?
Yeah, think of it this way. Fedora is like the wild younger brother, always out there experimenting, pushing the boundaries. You know what I mean?
So basically, Fedora's the crash test dummy, taking all the hits before Red Hat throws a price tag on it and christens it RHEL.
Exactly. They take the best parts of Fedora, refine them, polish them up, and ensure they're rock solid for businesses that need their systems up and running 204/7.
No downtime allowed.
Exactly. For example, RHEL 5, it was actually a crazy mix of Fedora Core 6 with bits and pieces from Fedora 13 and 14. Talk about Frankenstein's monster.
So they're playing mad scientist, mixing and matching Fedora parts to create the ultimate Linux Frankenstein.
You could say that, but it's all about stability and reliability. Businesses can't afford to have their systems going haywire because of some experimental new feature, right?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
But what about these RHEL clones? Can't some other company just rip off RHEL and sell it for cheaper?
Yeah, the clones. You see, it used to be easier, but Red Hat's been tightening the screws.
Locking down the kingdom.
Right. They still release the source code, but only to paying customers and developers who promise not to, redistribute it.
So it's like a secret society for RHEL code now.
Pretty much. But this whole thing has actually sparked a wild west of clones. Some, like Alma Linux, are trying to stay ABI compatible.
ABI compatible, huh?
Basically, that means their software should still run on RHEL without any major hiccups. Others, like Oracle and Rocky Linux, have formed this, you could call it a rebel alliance. They call it the Open Enterprise Linux Association, OpenELA for short.
Catchy.
They're fighting for free open source code. It's a real showdown, man.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Let's talk support. Why shell out for RHEL support when you can grab a clone for free?
Because with RHEL, you get what you pay for, right? You get access to Red Hat's top-notch engineers, security updates, and a rock-solid guarantee of stability. Imagine your entire system crashes in the middle of the night because of some obscure bug. What do?
Panic.
Exactly. Would you rather be digging through online forums at 3 a.m. or have a team of experts just a phone call away?
A team of saviors.
Right, so it depends.
Depends on what.
Your needs, your budget, they've got different support levels, from basic to full-blown 24/7 hand-holding. You pick what suits you best.
So it's like a choose your own adventure for support. You decide how much pampering you need.
Exactly. But here's the kicker. Red Hat's only supporting upgrades between recent major versions.
So if you're stuck on an ancient RHEL system, you're screwed.
You either upgrade or face the music.
Sounds like a sneaky way to force upgrades.
Well, it's also about security and staying ahead of the curve. Older systems are more vulnerable, They lack the latest features. Red Hat's basically pushing businesses to modernize.
All right, get it.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about these ridiculous version names. Tarun, Tikanga, Santiago. What the hell were they smoking?
Honestly, it's a mystery.
Sounds like they threw darts at a map.
Probably. But each version comes with significant changes. New kernel, new features from Fedora, bug fixes, the whole shebang. They even sneak in features from newer kernels to keep things stable while staying up to date. It's a bit sneaky, I'll give you that.
Sneaky bastards.
Yeah.
So they're slipping in new tricks without changing the version number.
It's a clever way to keep things fresh without rocking the boat too much.
Speaking of fresh, let's talk about RHEL 9, the new kid on the block. What's the big deal with this one?
RHEL 9, it's a beast.
A beast, huh?
It's built on the Linux kernel 5.14, so it's got horsepower to spare. And the security, tighter than Fort Knox. You've got the Integrity Measurement Architecture, or IMA for short.
I am. What the hell is that?
Imagine a security guard for your operating system, constantly checking to make sure no one's messing with your files.
So it's like a watchdog, sniffing out any unwanted changes.
Exactly. You can't even log in as root with the password anymore. It's all key-based authentication now.
So they're dragging everyone into the future, kicking and screaming.
The cloud is the future, and RHEL 9 is ready for it.
Okay, so RHEL 9 is the future of enterprise Linux. Is that what we're saying?
It's definitely a huge step in that direction. All the bells and whistles you need for a modern, efficient, and secure IT infrastructure. But hold on, we can't forget about RHEL 10. It's still in beta, but it's shaping up to be even more impressive.
RHEL 10, the sequel we've all been waiting for.
You could say that. More innovation, more advancements. It's going to be interesting to see what they cook up.
All right, so we've got Fedora, the wild child, RHEL, the mature older brother, and a bunch of clones trying to steal the spotlight. It's a family drama, Linux style.
And Red Hat's making it harder for those clones by locking down the source code.
It's a battle for the future of enterprise Linux, and it's just getting started.
All right, let's fire up the time machine and take a trip down memory lane. We're going way back to the early days of RHEL, back when it was just a baby.
A baby RHEL, huh? So cute. What, was it wearing diapers and drooling on its onesies?
Something like that. We're talking RHEL 2.1, released back in 2002. This was the first version to actually use the Enterprise Linux branding. They were starting to get serious about targeting businesses.
So this was the first RHEL that actually mattered, huh? Before that, it was just some rinky-dink Linux distro that nobody gave a damn about.
Pretty much. It was based on Red Hat Linux 7.2 and 7.2a, and it used the 2.4.9 kernel. Ancient history now, but back then, it was a big step for Linux in the server market.
I bet it was running on those massive servers that took up a whole room and sounded like a jet engine taking off.
Probably. But hey, it was cutting-edge technology for its time.
Let's fast forward a bit. What about RHEL 3? Did it set the world on fire?
RHEL 3, codenamed Tarun, was released in 2003. It brought some important features to the table, like Logical Volume Manager, or LVM, for managing storage, and Synonymous for security.
Synonymous, isn't that the thing that's always getting in your way, blocking you from doing what you want on your system?
Yeah, it can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but it's there for a reason. Think of it like a bodyguard for your server, even if it's a bit overzealous at times.
Okay, so it's like that annoying friend who's always trying to protect you from yourself, even when you're just trying to have a little fun.
Exactly. But sometimes you need that friend to stop you from doing something stupid. RHEL 3 also upgraded the kernel to version 2.4.21, which brought some performance improvements.
So it was basically RHEL 2.1 with some extra bells and whistles.
You could say that. It was a solid release that helped establish RHEL as a serious player in the enterprise market.
All right, let's move on to RHEL 4. Did it bring anything revolutionary to the table?
RHEL 4, codenamed Nahant, arrived in 2005. It was another big step forward. It introduced the 2.6 kernel series, which brought some major performance and scalability improvements.
A new kernel, same old RHEL, right?
Not quite. RHEL 4 also introduced X virtualization.
It is virtualization. What is that? Some kind of alien technology?
Not quite. XM virtualization allows you to run multiple virtual machines on a single server. It was a game changer for businesses because it meant they could consolidate their servers and save money on hardware and electricity.
So they finally realized that running one giant server for everything was a bit wasteful?
Yeah, virtualization was becoming a big deal, and RHEL 4 was ready for it. It was a smart move by Red Hat.
Okay, on to RHEL 5. Did they finally learn how to give these versions normal names?
Not really. RHEL 5 was called Takanga, and it was released in 2007. It was based on the 2.6.18 kernel.
Okay, but what did it actually do? Don't bore me with the technical mumbo-jumbo. Give me the good stuff.
Well, for one, it introduced Xterra4.
X4, what the hell is that?
It's a new and improved file system that was faster and more reliable. They also included the Yum package manager, which made it easier to install and update software.
So they finally started thinking about usability, huh? Making it less of a headache for us regular folks.
They're definitely making progress. RHEL 5 also had better support for 64-bit architectures, which meant you could run it on more powerful servers.
Makes sense. 32-bit was getting pretty outdated by then.
Exactly. They were trying to keep pace with the demands of the growing enterprise market.
All right, what about RHEL 6? Did it keep the momentum going?
RHEL 6, codenamed Santiago, was released in 2010. It continued Red Hat's focus on stability and innovation. They actually switched from X virtualization to KVM virtualization, which was more robust and had better integration with the kernel.
So they ditched X. What a bunch of jerks.
Well, KVM had some advantages, so it was a logical move. RHEL 6 also introduced Systemed, which was a pretty controversial change at the time.
System, what in the world is that?
It's basically a new way of managing system services and processes. It was designed to be faster and more efficient than the old init system.
So another one of those under-the-hood changes that most people wouldn't even notice?
Yeah, but it was a big deal for system administrators. It changed the way they managed their servers, and it caused a lot of debate in the Linux community.
Sounds like they weren't afraid to shake things up a bit.
Yeah.
But did it actually make things better?
For the most part, yes. Systemed is now the standard init system for most Linux distributions, including RHEL. It's proven to be a reliable and efficient way to manage system services.
All right, let's keep rolling. What about RHEL 7? Did they finally embrace the cloud?
RHEL 7, or MIPO, arrived in 2014 with a 3.9 kernel. It was a major release, and it focused heavily on cloud computing and containerization.
Ah, the cloud. The great digital abyss where all our data goes to live or die, depending on how you look at it.
The cloud has its advantages. RHEL 7 was designed to help businesses take advantage of them. They introduced Docker support for containerized applications, and they improved support for cloud platforms like OpenStack.
So RHEL 7 was like the gateway drug to the cloud.
You could say that. It made it easier for businesses to experiment with cloud technologies and start moving their applications to cloud environments.
Okay, I'm seeing a pattern here. Each new version of RHEL seems to jump on the latest tech bandwagon. What about RHEL? Did they go all in on containers and microservices?
RHEL 8, codenamed UPA, was released in 2019. It was another big leap forward, especially for developers building cloud-native applications.
Oopa. Seriously, who comes up with these names? It's like they're pulling them out of a hat.
Your guess is as good as mine. But the name doesn't really matter. What matters is that RHEL 8 was built on the 4.18 kernel, and it came with full support for Wayland.
Wayland? What the hell is that? Talk to me like I'm 5 years old.
Imagine you're watching a movie on your computer. Wayland is like the behind-the-scenes technology that makes sure the movie shows up on your screen correctly. It handles all of the graphics and makes everything look smooth.
So it's like upgrading from a clunky old TV to a fancy new 4K OLED.
Exactly. Wayland offers better performance, better security, and it's designed to work well with modern hardware.
All right, so besides that fancy new display stuff, what else did RHEL 8 bring to the party?
It also introduced application streams, which lets you install and manage different versions of software packages side by side. This is really useful for developers who need to work with different versions of libraries and tools. And of course, they continue to improve support for container technologies like Podman and Builda.
So they were really pushing that whole cloud native agenda, trying to get everyone on board the container train.
Absolutely. RHEL 8 was all about making it easier for businesses to build and deploy modern applications that are designed to run in cloud environments.
All right, I think I'm starting to get the hang of this RHEL thing. It's all about stability, security, and keeping up with the latest and greatest technologies. What about RHEL 9? What's the latest scoop on that?
RHEL 9, codenamed Plow, was released in 2022. It builds on the foundation laid by RHEL 8, pushing even further into the realms of cloud-native development, security, and automation.
Plow. That's actually a semi-normal name for once. But what's so special about RHEL 9? What makes it stand out from the crowd?
For starters, it's built on the 5.14 kernel. That brings a whole bunch of performance improvements. And the security. Tighter than ever. They've got this thing called the Integrity Measurement Architecture. IM, for short.
Hold on. IM. Didn't we talk about that earlier?
We mentioned it briefly, but it's worth diving into a bit deeper. IM is constantly checking your system files, making sure no one's been messing with them. It's like having a security guard patrolling your system looking for any signs of intrusion.
So it's like a tripwire system. If someone tries to sneak in and change something, IMA will catch them red-handed.
Exactly. It's a crucial security feature, especially for businesses that handle sensitive data. RHEL also comes with OpenSSL 3.0, which uses modern encryption algorithms to keep your data safe from prying eyes.
Okay, so RHEL 9 is like Fort Knox.
Yeah.
Impenetrable security.
Pretty much. They've really stepped up their game when it comes to security. But it's not just about security. RHEL 9 is designed to be incredibly versatile. You can use it for all sorts of things, from running web servers and databases to powering those complex cloud-native applications and microservices.
So it's like the Swiss Army knife of operating systems. It can do it all.
Exactly. And it's designed to handle the most demanding workloads, whether you're running a traditional data center or deploying applications to the cloud. Plus, you've got Red Hat's legendary support behind you, so you know you're in good hands if something goes wrong.
All right, RHEL 9 sounds pretty impressive, but let's not forget about those pesky RHEL clones. Are they still kicking around? Or did Red Hat finally crush the rebellion?
They're still out there fighting the good fight. In fact, Red Hat's decision to lock down the source code has only made them stronger. The Open Enterprise Linux Association is gaining more and more support, and they're committed to providing a truly open source alternative to RHEL.
So it's like a David versus Goliath battle, the scrappy underdog versus the corporate giant.
It's definitely got that vibe. It'll be interesting to see how this all plays out. Will Red Hat adapt their strategy to address the growing competition? Or will they double down on their current approach? Only time will tell.
This is getting juicy. But before we dive into the drama of the RHEL clones and the future of enterprise Linux, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back to break down the support options and what the hell the future holds for this enterprise behemoth. All right, we're back, and it's time to tackle the final frontier of RHEL, the support game, and what the hell the future holds for this enterprise behemoth. We talked about different support phases, but break it down for us simple folk. Why the hell would anyone pay for support when these RHEL clones are out there for free?
It's all about peace of mind, right? You're not just paying for the software, you're paying for the expertise, the security updates, the guarantee that your system's going to run smoothly. Imagine you're running a mission-critical application and bam, something goes wrong in the middle of the night. Do you want to be scouring the internet for a solution at 3 a.m.?
Hell no. I'd rather be sleeping.
Exactly. That's where RHEL support comes in. They've got a team of experts on call ready to help you out no matter what the problem is.
Okay, that makes sense. But let's talk about the price tag. Is RHEL support worth breaking the bank?
It depends. It all comes down to your needs and budget. RHEL offers different subscription levels from basic support for, just the essentials to full-blown 24/7 hand-holding. You can pick and choose what suits your business best.
So it's like a buffet of support options. You load up your plate with as much or as little as you need.
Exactly. Some businesses just need the basics, while others require more comprehensive coverage, especially for those mission-critical applications. It's all about finding the right balance.
All right, I'm starting to see the value here. But let's talk about the big question mark hanging over everything. The future of RHEL. With Red Hat locking down the source code and these clones gaining traction, where the hell is this all heading?
It's a fascinating time for enterprise Linux, that's for sure. Red Hat's move has definitely shaken things up, but it's still too early to say what the long-term impact will be. The open source community is known for its resilience. You can't count them out. They always find a way.
So it's a wait-and-see situation. We just got to grab some popcorn and watch the drama unfold.
Pretty much. But we can make some educated guesses, right? The Open Enterprise Linux Association is gaining a lot of momentum, and they're committed to providing a truly open source alternative to RHEL. They're attracting some serious talent and getting support from major industry players.
So this Open ELA, it's a real force to be reckoned with.
Absolutely. It's a movement that could have a major impact on the enterprise Linux landscape.
So it's like a David and Goliath situation.
Yeah.
The little guy taking on the giant corporation.
It's shaping up that way. Will Red Hat adapt to the competition or stick to their guns? Who knows? It'll be interesting to watch it all play out.
All right, let's wrap this up. We've covered a lot of ground. RHEL's origins, its evolution, the cloud, the clones, the whole shebang. What's the takeaway for our listeners? What should they be thinking about as they navigate this crazy world of enterprise Linux?
The Linux world is constantly evolving, and this whole situation with Red Hat and the source code, it's just another twist in the story. Whether you're a diehard RHEL fan or considering the open source alternatives, it's crucial to stay informed and weigh the pros and cons. Do your research, understand the implications.
Damn right. Knowledge is power.
Exactly. And at the end of the day, the choice is yours. The Linux landscape is vast and always changing. It's an exciting time to be a part of it. So explore the options, experiment, and find what works best for you.
Hell yeah. Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride through the world of Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Until next time, keep it real, keep it open source, and keep on learning. Peace out.